YouTube, same here. Well, I'm back with my starting problems again. Went pretty much all winter long, no problems, but as soon as it starts getting a little warm out, all of a sudden it starts doing this again. So if this doesn't fix it, if anybody out there can tell me what's going on with my truck, I'd really appreciate it. I did a video, if you watched it on my, this is a 98 GMC Sierra. It's got the 454 in it. But I did a video on replacing the starter and taping up all the wires and stuff with heat shield, and that seemed to have worked for a long period of time. It hasn't done this for a long time, and now it's back to doing it again. I still don't think it is the starter. I did have the starter checked, but I do think there might be a wire in between here and the starter that's not working. I drove the truck around all day yesterday. It had no problems whatsoever, but now I go to start it and nothing. But the fuel pump, you can hear it run. All the lights come on that dash. All this stuff does what it's supposed to do, but nothing. There's absolutely nothing after that. So like I said, if anybody out there knows what's going on, I'd really appreciate it. So I'm going to dig into this thing and see if we taking this off down here just to kind of get started. I am going to go ahead and take the metal pieces off just so I can get in there. I'm going to take this off first though. I think I decided I want to go right up in here and see what's in here. It doesn't appear to have an airbag, and the horn is right here, so that makes me assume there is no airbag. There's nothing that says airbag in here that I've seen, so I'm kind of surprised actually that it doesn't have an airbag, but so be it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just kind of taking probably the surround part off first here, and then we'll dig in here. Inside here you got your make sure steering wheel go up and down, and that just grab a hold of it and pull out, knob and all. And I did push it back in there, and it went back in and worked again and stays in there. So it's just kind of a pressure fit. Then up under here there's some holes. I'm assuming, I know there's a screwdriver or screw in that one. I'm assuming there's one in there, and it looks like about it. If there's more, I'll tell you. And those are actually Torx 20 T20 head screws, and it was just the two, this one here and this one here. Fold those out, that pulls down and it actually hooks around the back. Over here there's a couple of little clips, so you pull that down and that just pops kind of backwards, comes right off, and that gives you access to a lot of crap. But I also, from what I've seen, there is a wire up here for the security stuff. And I think that might be it, that sometimes gets loose and causes it not to want to start. So I'm gonna try and get into that. Alright, well, I'm trying to take this top piece off here, and right down underneath here is this right here, and over on the other side up in this area is another one, which is the smaller one here. This one doesn't seem to come out, it just goes through this long thing here, and it's been kind of a bear. And you need, I actually had to go buy, excuse the camera jiggling around, this little thing here, and it's like a star bit. It's like the opposite of Torx. It's an E5. I actually had to go to Napa and get it, S14E5. So I don't know exactly what the name of it is. I had the packaging and have now lost it. But anyway, you're going to need that to get onto these little boogers here. And then hopefully it should pop off. But it still was kind of a pain to pop it off even then. Then your emergency signal will come on. So I can't get that with one hand. I'm just going to go ahead and pop that off of there. And I got those screws out of here, and this should come off, but this is keeping it from coming out. And my instructions manual is about as worthless as can be. So we're going to kind of wing it here based off of some of the stuff I've seen. I need to get this lock cylinder out, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more on that. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the steering wheel. Now, like I said, I didn't think there was an airbag in this, but then I looked over here, and there's an airbag fuse. And there's nothing on here that says airbag. I looked in the manual, it said 96 and newer would have an airbag. You need to stick something in for some spring thing. And there's not even screws back here, which I expected. Nope. So I just kind of pried this out a little ways, just kind of to look and see if I could see anything, and to my surprise, this just pops right off of here. So there's no airbag in this one anyway. If there's airbags in yours, you're going to have to do something different, and make sure you follow the instructions so you don't blow your airbag into your face. But anyways, so that just pops right off of there. There's just these little clip things here, and they stick in some rubber holes here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my steering wheel puller and pull this thing off. Couldn't really figure out a way to get that out of there. And I don't want to pull on it too hard, so it does come out right in this area here. This one here actually has little teeth on it, and it just pushes right into that hole, and that holds it in. So you got to kind of push it together like that and pull it out of the hole. Alright, we got a 13/16. Fits on here. Then I got my wrench, and I actually had to get a little bit of effort to get it going here, so took a little bit to move that, but now I should be able to just take it off. I got my steering wheel puller on here now. Go buy one of these. They're fairly cheap at any automotive place. Harbor Freight has them, I think. Even I've had this thing forever. It makes life so much easier. You don't bung up your threads trying to beat on it with a hammer. It just is easier. And all you do is tighten this thing down a little bit at a time. And sooner or later, the steering wheel will pop off. Ta-da! And then take it off. Now I got this horn switch, and what it is there's this little thing here and down there, and you got to push in on those. A couple of small screwdrivers through a hole here and a hole down here. It was really kind of a pain in the butt, and then that just pops right off. So that's how you take this off. Next, this will probably come off, but I'm going to look in here and see if I can get this off before I worry about pulling all this stuff off. Hoping I don't have to pull this off to do the ignition. Unfortunately, removing the lock plate because I still can't figure out how to get this switch out of here. So I'm going to remove that. There's a lock plate remover tool. I don't know if that's the exact name for it, but that's what I've called it. And basically you screw this on to the nut in the middle here, and then this pushes down on this plate, which allows a little clip that's down in here to come loose. You know, you're gonna have to get a couple little screwdrivers in there and try and pry that out of there. Just that little silver thing right there that you see going around, that you got to pry out of there, and then you want to slowly back this thing off. There's quite a bit of pressure on this thing, so if you try and push on this and pry that out, first of all, I wouldn't do that. I have done it in the past with older rigs, but this tool, again, I don't think it's that expensive. I honestly don't know about this one, but I doubt it's more than 15 or 20 bucks at the very most, probably, and it's more than worth its weight if you have to do this kind of job. And when you buy tools to do jobs like this, inevitably you'll use them later on down the road, and they pay for themselves usually the first time you try something like this, because if you had to take this in and have somebody, first of all, try and figure out what the problem was, and second of all, fix the problem, they're going to charge you a crap load. So it's well worth buying the tools if you are willing and able. So I'm going to back this, or get this out of here, back this out, and we'll get back at you. Even with the tool, I wound up bending the crap out of this trying to get it off of here, just to get it out of that little groove. So anyhow, but that tool just keeps this pushed in so you have half a chance. I'll have to go to a parts store and hopefully they have some of those. And it's nothing underneath there. So I'm kind of trying to remember how this goes. I'm going to put everything, kind of stack it in order. There's the horn button. This looks like it can go just about any way, so try and remember where that's at. It's up in this corner here where the piece goes in at. Alright, and still not seeing a whole lot of stuff that is going to help me get this switch off here. And that stupid Haynes is not helping me a bit, because nothing in here looks a whole lot like what's in that stupid book. Off YouTube. I will show you, because it popped this way, but this key thing was keeping it on there. And no matter how I tried, this book right here was not very helpful until I finally kind of saw a little thing that said use a 3/16 of all things to put down in this little hole here. Well, that don't fit. Obviously that's way too big, and it's a 3/16. That's what the book says. So I found this one, and I don't know what size it is, but that one compared to that one, and this one actually works. That was probably really blurry, but I'll do it with the cover off so you can hopefully kind of see how this goes. I gotta set you up so you can see this. Right here is a hole. And what you need to do is turn on your key. I got my battery unhooked, by the way. Turn on your key, turn it all the way as far as you can get it to turn. Stick that down in there and push, and then pull that out and kind of back it out a little bit, and that brings your lock cylinder out. That way it makes it so that you can get this out of here and pull this off. So that is how you do that. Now it's kind of just the opposite to get it back in. And quite honestly, I was hoping it was this piece right here that was the problem. It's, from what I can tell, some sort of security thing that keeps things from stopping, but really it's not doing anything. And from what I could see from that, usually it'll crank a few times and even start a little bit and then shut off, and then crank and start and shut off. This is not doing anything at all, so that is not my problem. Things in here, as much as I want to mess with things, from what I can see, everything seems to be alright, so I don't believe it's anything actually in the steering wheel causing any of my problems. So keep an eye out for more videos on hopefully fixing this thing. At some point in time I'm going to find the stinking problem here, so keep an eye out for those videos. Until then, I guess I'll make this video of steering wheel how-to video, and hopefully if somebody needs to be able to take all their plastics off and get their steering wheel off, now they know. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all, Master none. Y'all have a good one.